Spanish manuscript illumination
by
John Williams.
So this is manuscripts they found in Spain. Okay. Now, when you read the book, how many of y'all got this book? Raise your hand. Let me see. Okay, maybe 10 of y'all. Maybe, okay, 13. When you read the beginning of the book, it tells you that the Muslims and non-Christians had been doing, putting books together. Now, Muslims, if you know anything about Islam, they don't believe in doing images. Okay, they don't believe. They do patterns, designs, but not images. And they said, and there were non-Christians there. But as we look through this book, there were Christians there, and they were black Christians, black Jews. Next page. So this is the page we're going to talk about briefly, okay? So let's get the wording on it first. Go to the next one, and we're going to come right back. Read that.
Christ, whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost negroid cast.
Notice the key word you want to see is almost. That's a deceptive word the writer put in. Almost negroid cast. Meaning that what you go back to the picture now. That zoom in on the center one. The center. Zoom in. Yep. Saying the guy in the middle, that's Christ. He almost appears Negro. That's Negro. Okay. Now let's go back to the wording again. We'll go back to the words again. Read it again.
Christ, whose darkened flesh tones now give him an almost negroid cast.
Read. Is shown.
Is shown enthroned between two cherubs.
It's thrown between two cherubs. Now let's go read down to the next highlighted area. It says although.
Yes, sir. Within a great although the text between the seraphs is taken from Isaiah.
So there's writings from the prophet Isaiah there. Okay, go ahead.
The eyes covering the wings of the cherubs and the symbols of the evangelists below are based on John's vision of the living creatures.
Next highlighted section.
Although the subject of the enthroned Christ with the four evangelists enjoyed a prominent role in the decoration of gospel books and Bibles.
So what you're looking at is pictures that were taken from gospel books and Bibles. Right?
After the 8th century.
Remember, the 8th century was 711, the year 711 on up. Go ahead.
In Northern Europe.
In Northern Europe. Go ahead.
This is the first surviving Spanish example.
Now let's go back to the picture again. This is the first surviving Spanish edition. So let's look at the whole thing. Pull back out. So those are the two seraphs. Everybody in the picture is, do y'all see everybody's black? Everybody's black. Give me the next, I want the next words that says plate 9A. Plate 9A, yes. Let's read that briefly.
Plate 9A.
Remember, this is from, no, read it.
Leon Bible.
Where's this from? Where's it from?
Leon Bible.
There's something called a Leon Bible in Spain. Go ahead.
Of 960.
Mm-hmm.
Follow 118V, Goliath's challenge. The Philistines stood on a mountain on the one side, and Israel stood on a mountain on the other side, and there was a valley between them.
Let's look at Goliath, the Philistines, and the Israelites now. Next. Zoom in, the top one. Zoom in. I want y'all to look at these black people. Do y'all see the black faces there? The brown, you see some of the brown paints coming off, but it's still there. Zoom in on, you know what I want? The left, the Israelites are on the left. Give me the first top 5. The little ones. No, not up there. Yeah, right there. Them right there. Zoom in right there. Can y'all see that these is black people? So they know in Spain, they knew the Israelites were black. Goliath was black. The Philistines were black. Everybody were black. Going back out. The white man is the devil. Give me plate 10. White man's the devil. Let me be quiet. They're going to cut me off TikTok. They keep saying I'm rude and racist. I'll be nice, Mr. White Man. I'll be nice. I read that one right there.
Plate 10. Leon Bible of
Leon,
960.
this is another Bible. Go ahead.
Follow FOL 50. Aaron in the tabernacle.
Mm-hmm.
Leviticus is the only book in the 960 Bible to have an introductory, full-page picture Its subject is the wilderness tabernacle described in Exodus, where Aaron and his sons are to perform priestly functions according to the prescriptions in Leviticus.
Let's look at Aaron and his brothers. Next picture. Zoom in. Give me just the whole bottom section. From the guys on the outside, too. Do y'all see Aaron with the big afro right there? Look at Aaron. He's the larger figure. That's Aaron right there with the big afro. So this was in Spain in the Bible. In a Bible. Look at the guy. Look at the bottom. Because some of the color y'all can see is coming off. But look at the bottom. See the bottom three guys? The bottom three. Look at them. Do y'all see them right there? Look at that. Come on, y'all. Don't play with us. Don't play with us. Give me the next book, please. Read that.
A textbook of the origin and history of the colored people by James W.C. Pennington, Hartford L. Skinner, printer, 1841.
Next page.
A stronger case still is to be found in the fact that the descendants of a colony of Jews, originally from Judea to the coast of Africa, are black.
Do y'all hear that? Can I get a bomb? Thank you. Thank you. Read it again, because the bomb came all late. I interrupted. Come on.
A stronger case still is to be found in the fact that the descendants of a colony of Jews, originally from Judea to the coast of Africa, are black.
There you go. All right, y'all trying to be in the spirit. Now give me the next book. I'm going to rush through this quick. Read that.
The Critical Review, Annals of Literature by a Society of Gentlemen, volume the 57th.
So this was published in 1783, as you can see at the bottom. Give me the next highlighted area.
Pope Nicholas V, in the famous bull by which he granted the unknown world to the Portuguese and Spaniards.
So Pope Nicholas V over Rome, he gave the unknown world to the Portuguese and Spaniards. Read.
Expressly permitted and ordered the Christians.
What did he order the Christians to do?
To reduce all infidels into slavery.
If you didn't believe in white Jesus, you went into slavery. That's what they did. Go ahead.
An order zealously executed by both their nations.
Give me the next page, please. So Christians, the next page. Next page. Yeah, right there with the middle section. Well, I got right there, that whole pink section. Yep. Read.
The discovery of the Gold Coast The discovery of the Gold Coast favored indeed, yet more to enlarge the sphere of the navigation of the Portuguese than their slave trade, but it forced them into an extend. It forced them
also
to extend themselves on the coast and to settle colonies in Congo, Angola, and other places.
So these are colonies in Africa. Read.
Which they had till they neglected, till then neglected.
Come on.
King John II in 1492 expelled all the Jews to the inland of the island of St. Thomas.
So the island, St. Thomas is where, brothers? That only three of y'all know is Africa? Thank you. Read.
Which had been discovered in 1471. And to other Portuguese settlements on the continent of Africa.
Watch this.
And from these banished Jews, the black Portuguese, as they are called.
Y'all see that? Wait. We can't just run by that. The Jews that was banished were called the black Portuguese. As they are called. Read.
And the Jews in Loango.
So where's Loango? Thank you. Dang, only 6 of y'all know that? I think I go over this every week on Shout Out Tuesday, pretty much. Loango is in Africa. Okay, so it's telling you there's Jews there. Read that whole section again, from these banished Jews.
Yes, sir. And from these banished Jews, the black Portuguese, as they are called, and the Jews of Loango, who are despised even by the very Negroes, are descended.
So the Negroes that despised those Jews were the Negroes that were not keeping the commandments in Africa. They were into paganism. Okay? Give me the next book, please. Read.
Nature Knows No Color Line
By
J.A. Rogers.
next page. Top section. Read that.
Yes, sir. As regards Christian Spain and Portugal, Negroes were imported in droves from 1440 until the abolition of slavery in Portugal in 1773.
So now, after they expelled the black Jews, they had them go to Africa. Then they brought them back once they got beat down and submitted. They brought many of them back as slaves. Go ahead.
Already before the discovery of America, says Fernando Ortiz, several thousands of Negro slaves had been expatriated from Senegal, Guinea, and the Congo, Guinea.
Senegal, Guinea, and the Congo.
And were working in Lisbon and Algarves, in Seville, and in all Andalusia. The Catholic sovereigns were dealers in Negro slaves.
Y'all see that part right there? The Catholic sovereigns were dealers in Negro slaves. So the Christian church is complicit with our slavery. Read on.
It was Christopher Columbus who went plundering in Negro slaves in Guinea before stealing Indian slaves in Cuba.
So when Columbus stole Indian slaves in Cuba, he stole them and went to where? They went to Spain. Okay? That's where he took them, to Portugal, to Rome. Read on.
Before the discovery of America, the Negroes already were cutting sugarcane in Andalusia. And in Seville, there was a municipal council of native Negroes with fraternal orders, kings and overseers. The Negro came first to the Indies from Spain, not from Africa.
Read that line again, because y'all didn't hear it. I know what they taught you in school. Your school's a lie. Read it again.
The Negro came first from the Indies.
The Negro came first to the Indies.
From Spain.
Not from Africa. Okay? So that's the history you're not taught in your school system. Okay? Give me the next page. Read that.
Waits says.
Waits. Mm-hmm.
Says, an interesting gradation of all shades down to the black is exhibited by the Jews.
Mm-hmm.
Especially dark were the Jews of Spain and Portugal. The Portuguese Jews were very dark, says Picard.
Read.
1, 2. All right, I'm going to start. Where you at, Bishop? Where is it?
Red, what says the Duchess.
All right. The Duchess de Brantz, wife of Napoleon's ambassador to Portugal, said that the Jew, the Negro, and the Portuguese could be seen in a single person. So dark were the Jews, especially of Portugal and southern Spain, that many whites thought all Jews were black or dark.
Y'all see that? So this is little known history that you're not going to find in your school, and you're never going to find about this in your church. Give me the next book. Read that.
The Jews of Spain and Portugal and the Inquisition by Frederick David Mercado.
Mm-hmm. Give me the next page. Highlighted section.
His father had removed with his children to Fez. It is thought for the purpose of strengthening his afflicted brethren in their wavering constancy. The Moorish Jews being at that time subjected to a most galling persecution.
What does the word Moor mean, brothers? It means black. So it's the reason I underlined it, you rarely see the word Moor and Jew combined. But in this book, the author combined it, letting you know that the Jews were the Moors. You ain't gonna find that in most books. They'd be like, no, don't let them know that. Give me the next page, please. Yes. So the Moors of 70 AD. You can say it on the mic, Bishop. You can say it. You can talk, you know.
So the Moors of 711 AD were Jews, black Jews. That's the point. Okay, a lot of people hear about the history about the Moors of 711 AD. Talk about the Jews in Spain, the blacks in Spain that took over Spain in 711 AD. Those were the Jews. That's the point that's coming out in this book, and that's what the history is saying.
Exactly. Next page. Read that.
It is interesting to know what were considered as proofs of a relapse into Judaism.
Pause right there. A relapse into Judaism. The Roman Catholic Church wanted to get rid of anybody, all of our people keeping God's commandments. So they forced us to accept Christianity, white Jesus. That's what they did. Okay? And they didn't want us to relapse back into keeping the commandments. So they had a few ways of finding out if we relapsed. These were your conversos, your moranos, and there's another term. Conversos, moranos, and can't think this second. Anyway, this is how they found out. Watch how they monitored our people. Read this.
It is interesting to know what were considered.
No, it was to be investigated.
It was to be investigated whether an individual had made a difference between Saturday and other days by laying a white cloth on the table.
So this is how they investigated you, whether or not you relapsed into keeping God's laws, whether or not you made a difference between Saturday and the other days. Go ahead.
Or putting on a clean shirt, or better clothes than on other days.
So if on the Sabbath you came up with a garment, a nice garment, they said, this guy's celebrating the Sabbath. She's keeping the Sabbath. And they will kill us. Keep going, watch.
Whether he had cut the throat of a fowl and killing it for food, or had withdrawn the sinew from an animal destroyed for the same purpose. Whether he had eaten meat during Lent, or on the fasts prescribed by the church, or had abstained from food on the Jewish Day of Atonement.
So they said, did he celebrate Lent or did he celebrate the Day of Atonement? Now, the Day of Atonement's tomorrow evening. Tomorrow evening. Okay, go ahead.
Or other Hebrew fasts.
Or other Hebrew fasts. Go ahead.
Or had used baths.
Go ahead, next page. Go ahead.
All right.
Cut his hair.
Had eaten unleavened bread. Or used certain...
No, the top. You can't see it. Cut his hair or pared his nails on days preceding such fast. Go ahead.
Or had eaten unleavened bread, or used certain herbs in Passover, or procured green branches, or made presents of fruits of friends at the time of the Feast of Tabernacles.
Feast of Tabernacles is coming up when? Next week, right?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Or repeated certain Jewish blessings on particular occasions, or recited the Psalms of David, without concluding with the words, glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Ghost. Whether any parent had given Hebrew names to his children.
If you gave your child a Hebrew name that identified you, raise it up. No, go back. I want him to keep reading.
Yes, sir. Or washed or shaved the head of a child on the part on which the chrism of baptism had been poured, or invited his friends and relations to dine before leaving on a long journey, or whether a dying man had turned his face to the wall, or had it so turned by others, or a dead body had been washed in warm water, or the water had been emptied out from all vessels in the house of a deceased person, together with a long catalog of similar inquiries.
Y'all see that part? Together with a long catalog of similar inquiries. This is how they identified us. They were watching us. Read.
Such were among the proofs of relapse from the newly adopted faith into the errors of the old superstition.
The old superstition in God's commandments. That's what they call it. Right, errors. That's what they called it. So now, let's go into the next book. So I'm going to show you what they did back then, because some of y'all think it can never happen again. I'm going to show you it's happening today. Read that.
The Inquisition revealed in its origins, policy, cruelties, and history with memoirs of its victims.
Okay, this was published in 1851. Let's go to the next page. Read that.
Yes, sir. Two persons, a black man and a woman, native Christians, but accused of sorcery.
Now we're going to remember that word? Remember what the last book called a relapse? What did it call it? Y'all remember? Superstition. Now we're going to see what this sorcery is. Being accused of sorcery. Let's see what it is as we keep reading. Go ahead.
Were burnt on this occasion.
Burnt on this occasion.
Besides effigies and the bones of 4 others, of whom one had died in the Inquisition, and another had closed his life in his own house, but having left large property, the inquisitors had his bones disinterred.
Disinterred means brought back up again. So they said the guy that we killed, he had a lot of property. Wait, we need to have a court hearing about bring that nigga back up, bring that black man back up from the ground, and bring his bones in here. We're going to have a court hearing. Go ahead.
Damn. The inquisitors had his bones disinterred for a trial.
How you going to bring bones for a trial? This is what the white man did, though. Go ahead.
When he was brought in guilty of Judaism.
What was his crime?
Guilty of Judaism.
He was keeping the commandments. That's that black man and black woman that was accused of sorcery. It was Judaism, keeping God's commandments. That was the crime. Go ahead.
So that his property was confiscated.
So now he's talking to dead bones in the trial. Then they confiscated all his property. Go ahead.
The victims were burnt on the banks of the river, and the rest were conducted back again to prison to be disposed of in various punishments by those pretended ministers of the merciful Redeemer.
Next page.
Yes, sir. These were Jews who had repented of their crimes and desired to be admitted into the church as believers in Jesus Christ.
So they called them conversos. When you converted from being Israel to Catholic, from keeping God's commandments to Catholic, they repented of their crimes and desired to what? To be
admitted into the church as believers in Jesus Christ.
Go ahead.
Next came 20 Jews of both sexes who had relapsed thrice into their former errors and were condemned to the flames.
So they relapsed 3 times into their former errors, keeping the commandments. Read.
Those who had given some token of repentance were to be strangled before they were burnt. But the rest, for having persisted in their errors, were to be burnt alive.
So in this book, they show you one of the torture devices. Next page. Zoom into the words. Zoom into the words at the bottom.
Yes, sir.
Do you see what it says?
Yeah. View of the Virgin Mary opened.
This was called the Virgin Mary. I want y'all to look at that. Do y'all see the spikes in that? They put us in that and would close the door and got white-faced Mary. Look on the right side, white-faced Mary. We'd be in there screaming because those knives, those spikes would penetrate.
Yes, sir.
That was a torture device called the Virgin Mary. This is what your good old Christians done did to us. But you don't know about the history, so you're like, I don't remember it because you were never taught it. Give me the next page, next picture, I mean. Here's a council of the Inquisition. Look in the back. Move me out the way. Look in the back. Highlight the back. The back. No, that's not the back. That's not the back. Back right. Do y'all see what's going on? They were burning. And a lot of these books, they only show white people. You never see black people being persecuted, but the written books tells you it was black. Didn't we just read when it said it was a black man? We just read that, but they don't show you black people. They show you white people so that way they can always be the victims. Oh, we suffered. Oh, get the hell out of here. Pull back out. So they burned us on crucifixes. And this was their meetings in the front. Give me the next picture. And as you can see, one of the bishops, or whatever they call it, cardinals, you see in the center, he's holding a golden cross with white. Can you zoom in on white Jesus in the center? Caesar Borgias, right there on the cross. Caesar Borgias, second son of Pope Alexander VI of Rome. Okay, give me the next picture. They were preparing to burn us alive, getting it ready. Give me the next painting by Rembrandt. I remember in school we had to study about Rembrandt. The name of this painting is called The Moors. Now, do those look like Arabs or Negroes? Exactly. But they never tell you that. They'll say, oh, the Moors were Arabs. That's what they do. And you'd be like, oh, they were Arabs. Okay. Most of them was our people. Give me the next book. Read that.
The Jews and Moors in Spain.
Who's reading now? What the hell's going on here? Okay. All right. Read that. I'm sorry.
The Jews and Moors in Spain. Rabbi Joseph Krauskopf.
Okay. Now give me the next page. For time's sake, I'm only going to read the bottom green, Zoom in, bottom green. Read that.
All Jewish children below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the church.
So stop. We see the word Jewish, and the first thought is white folks. We don't think our people at all. So it says, between 14 years of age were torn from the parents' arms, dragged into the church. Next page. Next page. Next page. Top.
Baptized, those
I
under
can't wait, we can't see it. Can you zoom in? Yeah, read that.
baptized, those under 3 years of age were given to Christians.
Stop. Those under 3 years of age was given to Christians. They never tell you what kind of Christians. I'm going to show you who they was given to. Read.
To receive a Christian education, or in other words, to be raised as slaves.
Wait a minute. A Christian education means to be raised as a what, brothers? Slave. It's the same today. I didn't write this book. The white folks wrote this book. They know what it is, but they ain't going to tell us. Go ahead.
Those between 3 and 10 years of age were put on board of a ship and conveyed to the newly discovered, unwholesome island of St. Thomas.
Where's St. Thomas, brothers? Africa. Go ahead.
Called Ilhas Perdidas, the Isles of Perdition, which was colonized by Portuguese condemned criminals.
Didn't we read about that in previous books? Go ahead.
To fare there as best they could. Those between 10 and 14 years were sold as slaves.
See that? These Jewish children were not white people. They were not. Those white folks were not sold as slaves. That was our people. Okay? So now let me look. Do I want the... read the next section. Can you read that quick, Nehemiah? That whole section?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
The Jews have experienced fully the unequaled skill of the church in administering pain. Mothers cast themselves at the feet of the tyrants and pitifully begged to be taken with their babes. They were heartlessly thrust aside. Hundreds of mothers, mad with despair, ran behind the ships as they carried off the idols of their heart and perished in the waves. The serene fortitude with which the exiled people had borne so many and such grievous calamities gave way at last and was replaced by the wildest paroxysms of despair. Piercing shrieks of anguish filled the land. Childless and brokenhearted, they now sought to leave the land, but they were told that they had forfeited their right, and they were given a choice between baptism and slavery.
Y'all see that? They told the adults, black folks, they said, y'all got two choices. You either get baptized by the Catholic Church or you go into slavery. Those are the only options they gave us. We're not taught this. Read on.
Thousands, after enduring all they did, after leaving their beloved Spain and all their wealth and ease, submitted to baptism.
It's
now.
how many of us became Baptists. We became Christians, I mean. Go ahead.
In the hope of being reunited with their children.
They said, maybe if I become a Christian, I could be reunited with my children again. Go ahead.
Thousands were sold as slaves. Yet prior to their being sold, they were submitted to tortures, cruelties, outrages too revolting, too repulsive, too heart-rending to be here narrated.
That was the Virgin Mary that we just showed y'all, that big iron, what they call an Iron Maiden and other, same thing. Next page, please.
He planned a strategy. He thought he could force the parents to embrace Christianity.
So let's talk about Torquemada. Go ahead.
And to remain. If he once succeeded in getting all their children into his power and into the Christian faith, he gave secret orders for the repetition of the atrocious crime of having all children under 14 years of age seized from their mother's bosom and father's arm, dispersed through the kingdom to be baptized and brought up as Christians. The secret became known. Portugal again re-echoed the wails of stricken ones. Frantic mothers threw their children into deep wells or rivers.
So some of our mothers was killing the babies. They didn't want them to go into slavery. Go ahead.
Mothers were known to take their babes from their breasts and tear them limb from limb, rather to resign them to Christians.
Rather than give them to the hands of Christians. This is go ahead.
They would rather know the bodies of their children in the grave and their released spirit in heaven than have them adopt a faith into which Satan sent his friends for their schooling.
Do y'all see that? See how, this is how we felt about Christianity. Read it again. Read it again. Read it again.
They would rather know the bodies of their children in the grave and their released spirit in heaven than have them adopt a faith into which Satan sent his friends for their schooling.
Go ahead.
With all the parents' opposition, the king's order was executed. Many accepted baptism, but not enough to please the king and to wreak vengeance upon them for thwarting his wishes. He revoked his edict, seized all who had not yet fled, and sold them as slaves.
So now let's see what they did with our children. Next page. So when I was in school, they would show us these pictures. They took us to many museums, but they never explained these were the black Jewish children that was given as slaves to Christians. They never explained that. Give me the next picture. But that's what it is. This is what you're seeing. Those are our children taken from us and made slaves, Christian slaves to these Christians. Go ahead. Next picture. Come on. Okay. Go ahead. Oh, that was it? Okay. Oh, so now this right here. This was an advertisement in Spain. Okay. I want you to go back. Give me one. Yeah. I want you to look at the clothing on these black children. These were not children that came from Africa so much. These were people that were already in Spain. These were Jews that had already lived there. Go back to the next one, the earlier one. Look at how they're dressed. Give me the one before that. Okay, look at how they're dressed. Okay, now give me that article, that advertisement. Okay, let me see. Give me the next page. I'm gonna come back to that. Can you get the highlight section at the top? Read that.
92. A couple of black people on their knees praying the rosary. Illustration for Felipe Guaman, Porma de Ayala.
Okay, give me the next. Raise it up. Raise it up. So this is a couple of black people, a black couple on their knees praying. Now, it was number 92, right, Nehemiah?
Yes, sir.
Okay, read that section from the passage. The passage on, yes.
The passage on Africans is introduced by a drawing showing a couple of black people on their knees, praying, following the European custom, with the rosary in front of an image of the Virgin. The text on top is partly cropped, but that beneath states that blacks are strong people who will overcome the Great Turk and will be subject to the service of God and of your royal crown, giving help with arms and food.
Now go back to the couple in the ad. So this is in Spain. This is what I want y'all to know. This is in Spain. Can we zoom in on the couple? Can we zoom in? I want y'all to see how they did their hair, the lips. That's the black man and black woman in Spain. Okay? And if you can see at the very bottom, it's in Spanish, but you can see the word Negro there. Right. Negro. So I want y'all to see how they're dressed. These are not slaves. Okay? They had given themselves over to becoming Christians. Roll it down just a little bit so you can see them again. Roll it down. Okay? This is in Spain. The black man and his wife praying to let's see who's praying, who they're praying to. The white woman as the Virgin Mary. Damn. This is all in the 1400s. Okay? Give me the next page, please. The next advertisement. Okay, now give me the next page. Actually, we'll come back to that. Give me the top 93, it says. Read that.
93. Black slaves maltreated by a Spanish couple. Okay. Illustration for Felipe Guaman Poma Diala.
Right. Now, can you go raise it up so we can read raise it up? Yes, that's highlighted section right there. Read that.
The second image in this passage shows the black slave seen in the first image being beaten by his master, with his wife imploring for mercy. The text explains how black men and women bear their lot with such patience and love of Jesus Christ, and their brutal master has no charity or love for his fellows.
So the love of Jesus. Now go to the drawing. Yeah, what's John 3:16? I want y'all to see. Y'all see the white woman with a stick beating the black woman, and the white man has his foot on the black man's head. Y'all see that? And look at the white woman with the stick in her hand, beating the black woman. Okay? This is in Spain. And look how that these slaves are dressed. This is what we were just reading about, those that gave themselves to be baptized in the church. Okay? This is why they're dressed like that. Okay? Give me the next picture when they actually decided to put them in chains. Next page. Do y'all see that? This is Spain again. 1400s here. Now, in this book, they only give you that one section, but this is an edited section. The next page gives you the full image. Give me the next one. That's the full image right there. So he couldn't run. The chain went from his waist to his ankle, so he could not run. Had a constant limp when he walked. Give me the next one. Just zoom in on the picture for time's sake. Zoom in on the picture. They got you can see the ankle. They got yokes on their ankles, man and a woman. And in the writing, it tells you that they had to bring piles of water. So what they did, these black Jews created a way that they could fill the barrels quicker. Can you zoom in on what they created? No. Come on, y'all. Pay attention. Right there on the right. Yes. See how they made nozzles to fill like 5 or 6 barrels at one time as they're pouring? Ingenuity. Because as slaves, they had to get the work done quickly and easiest as best they can. Read that.
The Negroes and the Jews. The story of the historic alliance of two groups since the 1800s, their struggle for equality with other Americans, and of the hostility that has grown between them in the last decades.
Give me the next page. Page 212. Read that from Negroes.
Negroes' claim to be Jewish is legitimate. The land of Israel is located in Western Asia and borders on North Africa. All of the native inhabitants of that region were non-white. When Spain expelled its Jews in 1492, many of them went to Africa.
Many of the Jews went where?
To Africa.
Go ahead.
It seems probable that some of them were brought later to America as slaves.
Well, where?
Brought later to America as slaves.
Can I get a bomb? Like they learn this all the time. Like, oh yeah, we know this. You don't know nothing. Read that part again.
It seems probable that some of them were brought later to America as slaves.
That's the proof right there. Come on.
The spirituals
Yes.
never sing of African rivers. It's always the Jordan or the Red Sea. They don't sing about African chiefs or kings. It's David or Moses or some other Jewish characters from the Bible.
Y'all see that? Y'all see that? I want y'all to take a look. Zoom in on the large one at the left, bottom left. Just zoom in on his face. Do y'all see anything coming out of his nose? They put a rope there to make him go to the left or go to the right. Damn. This is what the Arabs did. And this is a photograph. It's not a painting. So I didn't make this up. Pull back out. This is how they control like a horse. Okay. Give me the next picture, please. This is us under the Arabs again. Give me the next picture. And y'all see the yokes of iron, and you see the Arab man about to beat the black woman with her back turned. Because they told her everybody to stand still for the photo. She didn't want to be in the photograph, so now he's going to beat the crap out of her with that stick. So black woman, you were not absolved because you had breastises. They didn't give a damn at all. You got beat just like we got beat. Yeah, say cheese for the camera, nigga. Damn. Give me the next picture. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mr. White Man. So y'all see more, these are yokes of iron on the necks of our people here.